So y'all know it's your boss, International Zoe. I'm here in Medellin, Colombia. I've been watching the young brother's channel, Kari. What's the full title of your channel?
Kari HQ, that's it. HQ is
All right.
like headquarters, and then also high quality. Because I'm all about quality when it comes to the finer things in life.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So I was watching this channel, and you know, I've cut a few other content creators here, and I was like, you know, that's a cool niche. You know, it brings us all together, and it gives exposure to everybody's channel. And you know, while I'm there, I get a chance to chop it up, interview him. So I reached out to him. He said, "Cool," and that's that. You know, we gonna get it popping.
That's right.
So, Kari, where you from originally?
It's complicated, I guess. Like, I grew up, I was born in Texas, and then I lived there until I was like 8, and then I moved to New Jersey, of all places.
Okay.
And I lived there till I was 18, and then I moved back to Texas, went to college at Prairie View, and I lived in San Antonio after that for a little bit, and then lived in Austin for a little bit, but I mean, Texas mostly, and then New Jersey, right? Like, from the good years in New Jersey, from like when you really
Get your swag.
yeah, like I was in the East Coast, like that's why I feel like my upbringing was a little different than like a lot of people's, because being from the South, but also being ripped out of there at that age, and going to Jersey was like, it was a culture shock for us. It was just me, my mom, and my sister. So
Right.
yeah, it was cool though. We did all the New York stuff. We lived like 30 minutes outside the city. So we went to like the Rockefeller Center, going to like Christmas at the Rock.
Right.
All that stuff that not a lot of people from the South or from the West Coast never get to do that.
Right.
You know, the Rockettes, the Broadway, all sorts
You
of
got a
cool
cool
stuff.
mom. She made sure y'all was well cultured.
Yeah, for sure.
So what did you go to school for?
I went to school for marketing.
Marketing. Okay.
Yeah, I went to school for marketing. I always loved marketing.
That's interesting too, to know what you want to do at that young age and like pick marketing. You know, most young kids want to pick something.
Well,
It's entertaining.
I was the best at marketing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't like a super overachiever student. It's weird because I went to a decent school, so skipping school wasn't like popular.
Right.
Like, people just went to school.
Right.
So what? Yeah, and then in the South, a lot of my cousins and a lot of other people, they grow up faster in the South. You know, like.
Yeah, that's rumored that happens.
They kind of, it's like they be having kids early. It's just like, it's quick, like in the South, I feel like. And so, yeah, like for me, I felt like when I moved to the South, when I went to Prairie View, I don't know if you know anything about Prairie View, but it's like Ratchet City in a good way to me. It was cool. I didn't see that.
You benefited from it.
Yeah, but I had good habits coming in.
Right.
Versus like Prairie View, they say it's a school where anybody could get into, but yada yada. But I'll tell anybody to go to Prairie View because I love that school. I don't care if it's easy to get into it or whatever. It's a good deal for what you're getting, and then just the culture, like going to an all-black school, is unbelievable. So I was thrown into that. I was like, and then I just like, you know, I had to catch up to what was going on. So yeah, coming from Jersey, you kind of like look like fresh meat in the South. But I graduated in 4 years, and I was out of there pretty quick. But it was lit. I loved it every second. That was some of the best years. Prairie View. Shout out to Prairie View.
So, give me a second, let me get the towel. After college, what did you do?
I worked for a big corporation. I'm not gonna drop the name, but I worked for a big corporation, like a tech company based in California. I worked for a few of them. So the first one I did, I worked there for 3 years. And I worked at another big one for like 2 years, and then
doing marketing.
Yeah, doing marketing. Like I was doing, just different marketing roles within the company, and then it was cool. You know, I liked the first one. I liked the first company I worked for, and then at the second company I worked for, I didn't gel well there, and like I was like, you know, I started to look for other things that maybe I could get into. And
outside of marketing?
Outside of corporation. I mean, whatever you do can have marketing to it, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, outside of the working for, just not working for nobody, you know, like
independent.
Yeah. So then I kind of learned and taught myself through trial and error, just like how to save and invest and stuff. So I was taking money. I was making really good money at those companies. I was always just reinvesting it and doing stuff with it. So, and my thing was like, if you buy something of value, like a share of anything, it's so hard for a company to just disappear overnight. Like, you know, like Tesla's not gonna, Apple, Tesla, these people, they're not gonna disappear overnight.
Right.
So, and the more likely thing that's gonna happen is that they double the value. You know, these things, I don't know, when I really kind of started to understand how all that worked, I was just like, man, that's a real way to not have to really do anything. Then I ended up in Colombia. I'm sure that was probably your next question, maybe.
Yeah.
I ended up in Colombia because we worked with an agency that did our quality assurance. They would check our marketing campaigns after we created them, and they were based in Bogota. And so I came.
Really?
Yeah, and I was working with the team here, and I really loved it. And then I came back a couple times. Just for vacation, and then I brought my boys, and then it was a whole thing. So the first time I think was in 2016. And
you told your boys, yo, you gotta come with me.
Yeah, but, it was hard to convince them. Like everybody was like, "What are you talking about?"
They were afraid.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Colombia, girls, it's cheap, it's lit, you're safe, you know.
Right.
And they're like, I don't know, but yeah. And then that's right around the time there wasn't a lot of YouTube stuff out there back then. I wasn't doing YouTube. I just started it, but I did befriend one dude, Marwar. I know a lot of people know him.
Yeah,
he's like famous now. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, me too.
And
I met him in Mexico at his 100 subscribers party he had there.
Oh, okay.
And I cut his hair there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, when I talk about good energy and people that like just get through it, he's one of those people, and he's inspiring. So big shout out to Mara. And I met him in Bogota in 2017 for the first time, and then we also met up in Mexico, and we drove from Belize to Mexico and back, and like this shit was crazy.
Wow.
But anyway, I still wasn't doing YouTube. That trip to Mexico, it was paid for by a company. I was out there at a conference, and then I just had rented a car and extended my trip.
Right.
So I was just still working, you know what I mean? So I just recently kind of took my thing and moved it to more of an independent consulting type thing.
Right.
So that's going well for me, and I'm just taking like clients one-offs at a time, and it's been plenty enough. I haven't really missed a beat in terms of like what you get from the corporations other than the benefits. That's, you know, they come with a little, you know, pretty healthy stack of benefits, but the money-wise, you know, that's been good. So I'm happy with it. And then I started doing the YouTube. Just cause I always love watching YouTube for information.
Right.
And it's a fun thing to do, something else to do, and it can lead to opportunities like this, and it's a cool thing to do. I like it. It has been a little, it's weird, you know how YouTube life is.
Yeah.
It's you get some weird shit, get some weird people, some weird stuff. It's just like.
But I would say more positive than negative. That's what keeps me going.
For sure.
A lot more positive than negative.
For sure.
And I think just some people might be a little negative because, maybe they're miserable at home or miserable in their situation.
They're just watching.
Or they just doing that because of the internet. You can be faceless and nameless and spew out all this craziness, but thank God it's not a lot. It's not overbearing, at least not at this point.
And, you gotta. That's a good problem to have at the end of the day, but it's not really a problem like that. But it's just an observation. I'm new to it, so
right. Well, what inspired you to? And first, let's go back to the consultant that you're doing. Is it consultant for marketing, or is it consultant for something else?
Not exactly. It's more like operations right now. I'm working with the startup, and they are trying to scale their platform, and it's actually the type of platform that's benefited in the pandemic.
Okay.
Because it's like one of the things that companies are using now is to replace kind of in person.
Right.
So, it's like operations, and actually, the reason I'm been able to do it out here is because from all the connections I made over the companies I worked at, I've met a good network of people that connected me to people that lived out here, worked out here, and so I just kind of got some decent opportunities. Life is just weird like that. I don't know.
Relationships are important.
Yeah, I never left on a bad note. I never do stuff like that. You always keep your head up and shake somebody's hand no matter what. So
you always say don't burn any bridges unless you have to, because you never know if you have to go back over that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can make the bridge better, then do that too. Make the bridge happy, and then they'll make you happy.
Pay your tolls.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the tri-state for you.
Yeah. So, how long have you been here, living here?
Dog, I got here in December last year, so we're gonna be on 11 months pretty soon.
So you were here through the entire pandemic?
Yeah, I haven't left, man.
Was you thinking of leaving when they were shutting things down? Or you was like, I'm staying right here? Or were you afraid?
It was like crazy. I immediately, when everything got really bad, like in mid-March, I lost like a big client. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And, I just didn't know what was, I knew the airport was closing, and I knew all this stuff was happening, and yada yada. So I was just like, I'm gonna ride it out. And then immediately, as soon as that client left, I got this one that I've been working with for the last 6 months. So it was just like, I don't know, man. It just happened like that, and I couldn't imagine being that blessed, but I don't know, it just happened. So I've been working, I put my all into it, so it's been a great opportunity. I'm super excited about what I'm working on right now. So
it paid off. Hard work pays off, as they say.
Yeah.
So tell me, how was it? Because y'all were down to only going out once a day if you was an essential worker, right?
Out here it was crazy, bro.
Tell me.
I was locked in the house with this girl. So I was dating this Colombian girl. I don't know. We got into this situation. I was. It wasn't meant to be long term, but I was basically you
needed some in-house.
I was basically at her crib because I was at an Airbnb that I hated, right? And then I had just started talking to her, and she was like, "Yo, come to my house for a couple days while you look for another Airbnb."
Right.
And that's when they closed everything down. So I was like, fuck. And we just ended up, and she was like trying to get super serious, and I was like, you know, not really. I mean, well, here I was going with it, but like, cause she's a great girl. You know, it's not really her.
Right.
I just I was young. Fresh out here. You know, I was new out here. I was like, I still had a lot of girls.
You don't want to lock in on your potential.
Yeah. She went through my phone, and then she flipped out, and then it was just a little weird after that. So I was like, all right.
But you were still stuck there?
Wow. I was stuck there, but it's like, it wasn't like bro, I never did nothing. I always made her life better, you know? I'm not the type of nigga that, I didn't show up with my hand out. Like, I'm over here buying groceries, putting shit on it. Right. You know what I mean? So, to her, I mean, it's not like she want me to leave, you know? She still wanted to be with me, bro. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you was talking to girls, but that made it a little weird. But she wanted to work through all that. I was like, you know, get gigs up, you know?
Were you upset with her because she looked through your phone? And that's what made you like say, or you was already like, well, once this is over, I'm probably gonna be out of here anyway.
Yeah. I mean, no, I wasn't trying to do all that. I was just like I was literally intended to be there for a week max. Right. So, and then she's a great girl. I don't want to make it seem like that. Like it just wasn't. It's not for me.
It just wasn't serious about her.
It's not for. Yeah, it's not for me right now. Like, I don't even know what type of girl. Bro, when you first get out here, you know, it's...
Tell us about that. Tell everybody who's wondering, you know, like, what did you get tired of? Because I'm sure you got here, it was exciting, everything was great, but then the honeymoon is over, and you might get tired, and you be like, okay, now I have to reevaluate maybe where I'm living, what I'm doing, who I'm hanging out with. Tell me about that.
First thing you get tired of is the tourists in Poblado and like JRS and that whole thing.
Right. The tourist traps or the tourists themselves?
You just get tired of being over in that thing, in that whole conundrum. You know, it's just like, and that's, I'm telling you, I don't mean that it's not a bad thing to do or nothing. It's not a bad place to be. It's just when you live here, it's different. Right. It's just different when you live somewhere.
It grows old.
Yeah. Especially something like that. That's like living in Vegas and going and you know, being on the strip every fucking day. You know, but yeah, so that, and then, you know, you start to realize, like, I was so, you know, blown away with the women and their bodies, but now living here, I've talked to so many girls and had girls tell me stories about how all the stuff they do. Right. And so I know it's not natural. Right. And so, and I knew, you know, there's some stuff that's obvious, but there's a lot of stuff people think is natural, and it's not, bro. Like, these girls really get a lot of stuff done out here. A lot.
Is it the culture?
It is.
Or is it chasing vanity for competition?
I think out here, beauty is just such an important thing to them that having a flat chest or not having a big butt is just the end of the world. That they're willing to give up a lot to get that, and it's a lot cheaper here, I'm sure, than the States. But
what about, okay, maybe if they're working girls, okay, but all the women, doesn't matter what their profession is.
I see girls, I see old ladies with, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I feel like it's more than just a working girl thing.
Right, it's the culture in total.
So that being said, there are a lot of girls here that are not with that are natural. Right. I'm not saying every girl, but when, you know, the proportion's high, it's just like, there's probably a lot more people with plastic surgery in LA than there is in Montana. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Same difference, I understand.
Yeah, this is just the capital of beauty and appearance and all that. And it's cool though. I mean, you get a lot of beautiful women, but to get one that's not with the bullshit, that's not trying to just get money out you and still is actually beautiful and you know, educate, all that, it's a lot harder than these guys think. Like, that's not easy, man. That's not easy.
So how's your dating been out here? You know?
Yeah, no, I got And I'm blessed. Like, I'm blessed. I feel lucky. But see, a lot of guys, though, they, like, they may not be the most, attractive guys themselves. So it's really a uphill battle when it comes to that. But for me, like, I got plenty of girls. I'm not just trying to be cocky or sound like
No, I
cool or
understand what
nothing.
you're saying. I know what it is to be used to getting pretty girls.
Yeah,
your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So then you come out here or you go to another country with beautiful women, and it's already expected for you. It's not like you're blown away because they're beautiful. You like, yeah, that's what I like. That's what I get.
Yeah, beautiful women, they attracted to me, and like, that's just what it is. And if you're a guy that takes care of himself, and like, you shouldn't have a problem, But even still, though, I mean, you still need to like work on your language. If the Spanish, like that stuff is gonna help you out a lot. You can't just be, I'm Tyson Bedford, and then I can't say nothing in Spanish.
Communication is
You gotta have, you just gotta feel it out. I learned.
How long did it take you to learn? And did you take classes or did you just?
I took some classes. I ended up hooking up with a teacher, and
Did the classes help you out a lot?
It's all about how much you practice.
Okay, so how much would you say you need to practice if you really want to get it?
If you can be, see, there's different approaches. You could put yourself in a situation where you have to use it. Like, hey, I'm gonna move to Cali. A great place to learn Spanish. Go to Cali, Colombia.
Why Cali?
It's not like this. It's not tourist. It's like, you feel like you in another world, like, that's one way. But then, if you could just sit down and practice and force yourself to do an hour a day.
Right?
Oh man, it won't take that long.
Right.
It won't take it, and I had to do that, and just like, I got frustrated to the point I'm like, I gotta speak.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How long did it take you to say, like, I have to learn? Because we know it's going to be work put in to learn.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to add work to their schedule. Yeah. But it might come a point when you be like, listen, I just have to learn.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to make that decision? A month, 6 months?
When I got my own place after living with Shorty, it was like, I have to learn.
Right.
She was helping me a lot.
Yeah.
And, being on the phone, like I had bought everything from my apartment, like all the appliances.
Right.
And then, but I had bought like a dryer by accident, and I couldn't get the refunds. These people at the store was just like, I had to call this, I had to do it all on the phone.
Right, and you couldn't communicate
the
problem.
And that was very frustrating. And so that's when I really I found a new teacher. I'm like, yo, we need to practice like ASAP.
Right.
Give me some stuff. But really,
did they come to you or did you go to them? But they have universities here too.
Yeah, no, I have private teachers that do either WebEx or they'll come to you or y'all can meet.
How much did that cost? Was it expensive? Was it more expensive?
To me, I think it is a little expensive, honestly. I mean, but they know. I mean, they know what's up. If you're American trying to learn Spanish, like, they know you got some bread.
Right.
But like $10 a class. Which for an hour and a half, 2 hours of somebody's time, it's not that bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
You can't get much for $10 in America.
Yeah. Well, $10 was like if you bought a bundle. I think normally like a class at a time is like 15. But
Well, you might buy 15, 20, 30 classes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's worth it. It's something that you're gonna use every day if you live here.
Yeah, I've watched a few people and nobody ever mentioned a private tutor.
Yeah.
I watched some other YouTubers saying that they went they learned and they went to the school or they looked into the university.
Yeah.
But that totally didn't cross my mind. But there's private tutors for everything else. And that would probably suit me to have someone come to me and teach me one-on-one, because I think you could focus in a little more You can't hide behind a class with distractions and stuff like that.
The hard part is getting one that's not too attractive. So you can focus.
Because you said you ended up dating your other teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, I dropped this clipper and it's super noisy.
Oh, that's all good.
But hopefully, one of these cameras is picking it all up.
Yeah, but you want to be able to focus.
Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give somebody thinking about moving to this?
Go ahead and do it. There's a big learning curve when you get here. For a few months, there's going to be confusion.
And that's just how things go here, or the language.
Well, I think everyone has this idea of what they think it's like, and it's not really like that. And
okay, so what?
Like they think girls are just like here in a like they like mannequins in the store. You could just pick one up. You know, it's not like that. You still have to like develop a social life and like get friends and like meet people and like treat people right and like.
Yeah, I think you see more of the reality of the place in local places like the mall.
Yeah.
Like you see families, you see girls, but they're usually with a guy, they're usually with their family or they're with their children. And you can see that you ain't going to just holler at them in the mall and they're going to just give you the number.
Yeah, and it's different than what it used to be a few years ago. Because now, like, it's like, I think they're less likely to be willing to just talk to some random dude,
And why do you think that is?
Because a lot of dudes have come here and like tried that, like a lot of guys they know that guys come here thinking like with their dick in their hand, like so they know that, and they don't care that you're just an American. Like that's not really
because they have a good country. Yeah. It's not like it's a poor, broken down country that they gotta like sweat you because you're American.
Exactly. And then you can't be here but for 3 months.
Right.
What they gonna do with that?
Right.
So yeah, man. It's like give them some credit and some respect, I guess, and you'll be good.
And I think people try to compare it to the first comparison is always Dominican Republic. And I try to say, listen, Dominican Republic is a small island with about 10, 11 million people. And you're only going to go to certain regions in there. I'm like, this is a whole country with different areas, different regions that's totally different from the other. And I'm like, it's not, you can't compare it. They don't need tourism to survive in Colombia. It's a totally different thing, And I just feel like, don't come over here and mess it all up,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, don't come over here and treat it like.
It's already changed a lot. Like, the girls are smarter because of what's happened in the last maybe 5 years with all the tourism.
Yeah.
They know now, like, that's an easy way for them to eat for a lot of them.
Right.
It's become an industry out here.
So you don't think it was the whole? Because I spoke to an interview.
And I'm not just talking about straight up just pay for sex. I'm talking about just like going on a date. Yeah, all these guys that go on Tinder, going on thinking, a lot of these girls just want to go out to eat.
Yeah. I think because in a bar, the first thing a girl asks you is like, can you buy me a drink?
Yeah. They know though. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? That's the question. What are you gonna?
Well, me,
No, I mean, no, that's fine. That's fine to buy a girl. I'm not saying don't buy a girl a drink, but like,
if I'm really trying to engage with you, and we sit down and talk, maybe I will buy you a drink. But if you just come over, sit down, and Like after what's your name and where you from, can you buy me a drink?
Right. It's all about that vibe you're feeling. Is it like a pay for play vibe, or is it genuine? That's the thing. You get tired of like those vibes that are like that, and you want just genuine vibes. Yeah, I think that's what happens when people
stay long.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, the reopening, the resurgence of Colombia and the curfew? Well, they never had a curfew, but just, things opening back up. Yeah.
I just want to get back to normal. Honestly, I don't. It's hard here because they can't like stop partying at 12. Like that's hard for them. Like
because they just turned on the lights. I was out the other night and they just turned on the lights and was like, "Sorry, I gotta go home."
like that for Colombia, and for us too. That's like the end of the world. Who wants that? Like
I'm interested in checking out some other neighborhoods. I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else is doing, but this haircut thing too brings another element to my channel. Like a lot of content, ain't no content creators.
It's like a podcast.
Right, and cutting people's hair, other content creators' hair. So, but I'm interested in seeing some other areas. I really want to either go to Bogota before I leave, or Cali, but I think I'm going to go to Bogota.
Yeah, Bogota is really cool. It has more stuff, I guess, It's got more restaurants, more...
It's a bigger city.
Yeah, it's just bigger.
But is it dangerous?
If you're in the wrong spot.
Right. See, I kind of wanted to be there with someone, and that's the other thing. I travel alone a lot because, a lot of people, they can't, they don't have the time or the resources.
Not set up for that.
Right, to travel a lot, Even when I invite different friends on different trips, it still didn't work out. So I just said, hey, I just got to go along,
People got obligations,
Right, and I could dig it.
I got my own perspective on, life. I've been lucky enough to have ability. I don't have kids or nothing. So
right.
It's easy for me.
Right, you can just get up and do whatever you want to do. How did your mother feel when because you know how mothers are. How did she feel when you was like, I'm moving here, I'm staying here during COVID?
She's been cool. Honestly, she was like my favorite person in the world, but my mom is not like the most warm person. She's like more of a
little gangster?
Yeah, it's one of those more even, just chill moms,
My mom too.
Yeah, she's not, we talk every once in a while, and she,
she's not a scary mom. That's how my mom's is. My mom's be like, okay, just be careful, son.
Yeah, she know I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. You taught me well. You set me up well. I got it from here. I'll stay in touch and I'll let you know if I need anything.
Yeah, exactly. She'll do anything. If I call, I know if anybody, she got me. So,
Always got your back.
Not a question.
So, tell them where they can find you, the name of your channel, where they can find you, if they want to contact you, how they can contact you.
All right. Y'all could watch my YouTube at Kari.hq, and you can follow me on Instagram at the same thing, Kari.hq. Obviously, you got DM on Instagram. You don't have that on YouTube, so if you need to contact me, hit me there. If you need like a consultation, information about how to get set up in Colombia, how to kind of live a life, of freedom here, I guess, that's how I feel, free every day. So if you need any advice for that type of subject, then we can talk. And I appreciate you guys watching.
Love is love, life is life, loyalty is priceless. Peace.